Domestic and family violence is an abuse of power perpetrated mainly by, but not only by, men, and it's usually against women in a relationship or after a separation. It occurs when one partner attempts to physically and or psychologically dominate and control the other person. One of the main topics brought up when we think about domestic violence or abuse is physical abuse. That is kicking, slapping, hitting, punching, pushing, pulling, choking, and damage of property. Another is emotional abuse, jealousy, anger, intimidation, controlling, neglect, humiliation, threats, isolation, and verbal abuse. And then there's also social abuse, being stopped from meeting or seeing friends or family, not allowed to leave the home and or being stalked. Sexual abuse is also a form of domestic violence. Forcing and coercing sexual acts, rape, and having sex without wanting to have sex is considered abuse. Economic abuse is controlling the access to money and other resources. This section covers myth and truth about domestic violence. Myth. Domestic and family violence only occurs in working or poor families. The truth is, domestic violence happens in all communities, from all social walks and cultural groupings. Another myth is that violent men and women cannot control themselves. Their behavior is out of their control. The truth of the matter is, if people couldn't control their violent behaviors, then they would try to dominate and control everyone, including their bosses, their work friends, and all other people that they come into contact with. One myth is that women enjoy being abused and controlled. Otherwise, they would just leave the situation. The truth is, there are many reasons why women don't leave violent situations. Their fear of social isolation, community stigma, and financial problems keep them in the situation. Also, after long term abuse, their self esteem is very low. They do not have the support system to build their confidence. Another myth is that loving and caring partners do not use violence. Violence can happen even in the most loving and caring of relationships. Only a small number of women experience domestic violence. No, the truth is, 1 in 3 to 5 women will experience domestic and family violence. Is alcohol and stress to blame for domestic violence? Alcohol and stress are not an excuse for domestic violence. People use that as an excuse. It's up to the person who commits the domestic violence to accept responsibility for their actions. Domestic violence is rarely spoken about. It is a private family matter. The truth is that domestic violence is a crime. It is not part of any relationship, and it should not be tolerated. Domestic violence only happens where there is unemployment and poverty in the family. Do you believe that's true? Well, the truth is, women from all backgrounds, all ages and cultures, employed or unemployed, are likely to be victims of domestic violence. It's often thought that women know their rights and can leave a situation if they want to. However, a strong sense of silence and secrecy often go with domestic violence. Women fear to speak out. The violence causes low self esteem, and no one wants their family to break up. Most women hope the violence will stop on its own. Lastly, some believe that women provoke violence, and they are part of the problem. No family deserves violence. Dealing with problems in ways that don't involve violence is the key, not blaming the victim.